Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. One moment. So, um, we are still we're still in February, I think. February 2nd. Yeah, February 2nd. Part 3. So there's 5 parts to this day. But the last part is only 5 minutes long. So, I'm really proud that we're getting through these like we are. I don't know how many of you are with me for the Kelly trial, but sometimes there were days, weeks, months in between videos. So I'm just so glad that we are trucking along every day and we're not sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting for new videos. I hate that. So we're going to get started right now. Unmute it.
May I, at sidebar, tell the court?
Please.
Yep. We start on a sidebar, of course.
All right. Thank you, counsel.
You recalled when Mr. Simpson was present at his home on June 13th, correct?
That's correct.
And do you recall that he was sitting there in the company of his mother for most of that evening while he was watching television?
Actually, that's correct. She was sitting there.
And do you recall, in fact, that Mr. Simpson was very distraught during that time?
He was, in my opinion, Mr. Simpson, what I saw was anger. I saw anger at the news coverage that he was actually being accused of murdering Nicole and Ron. That's all I saw.
Well, it is true, is it not, that Mr. Simpson was distraught that week of June 13th when you saw him, correct?
Tuesday morning, I saw OJ before he was snuck out of the compound. I saw him that morning he was leaving. That's when, to me, that's when I saw him. He looked totally disheveled and distraught.
And it's your testimony that Mr. Simpson didn't show any signs of concern on June 13th when you were there in his house?
Not about Nicole.
Overruled. You can answer the question. Mr. Darden, briefly.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Great. Thank you.
This witness case.
Yes.
Your Honor, I keep him on call.
All right. Mr. Shipp, I'm going to excuse you at this time, subject to further recall. You're ordered not to discuss your testimony with any other person other than the attorneys in the case.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Your Honor, can the witness be similar admonished about the court's order as to any witnesses as well?
Yes, also don't watch any of the television coverage or news coverage regarding this case. All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Darden, your next witness.
Your Honor, that's going to take a couple of moments.
Judge, if I'm on channel 2, it's at 5. I'm watching it.
Let me have some sidebar issues.
All right, let me ask the jurors to step back into the jury room then. Once you get your witness started, however. Record should reflect that the jury has withdrawn from the courtroom. Mr. Darden, who is your next witness?
The next witness will be Senior DA Investigator Mike Stevens. He is the investigator that retrieved certain items from the Cold Ground safe deposit box. I don't know that council has ever seen the originals of the items contained therein, and I intend to introduce many of those items.
All right, do you have those items here?
The other item?
All right, is this Mr. Stevens, I take it? For what purpose? To examine the contents there and show them to council?
Yeah, and to see if we can't reach some compromise on some of the items, which I doubt, but it might save some time.
Well, the only difference is I can wander into the back there, so why don't you pull it out and show it to council? Maybe if I stay here, it'll go quicker. I'm sorry?
Can this be cut off? This microphone.
Ah, I understand.
You see what I'm
All
saying,
right.
Your Honor?
Yes, I understand. All right, we will take a recess.
All
Mr.
right.
Darden, Mr.
I don't mind if we just move someplace away from here. I don't understand.
Well,
the microphone.
there's a lot of stuff. There are 10 or 12 items. Things like newspapers from 1989.
Why don't we step over there?
All right, step over here to the sidebar. And
Mr. Darden? Marcia was having an affair with Darden? Sorry, that's my bad, huh? Come on, Kathy. I'm eating pancakes.
All right, back on the record. All right, the record should reflect that the prosecuting attorney, Mr. Darden, has displayed to the court and defense counsel certain items of evidence that are, and it's your offer, Mr. Darden, that these came from a safe deposit box belonging to Nicole Brown Simpson.
That's correct, Your Honor. And they were seized by DA investigators pursuant to a search warrant on December 6, 1994. There were a number of items included in the safe deposit box, including a will dated in 1990.
A will?
The will.
1990, okay. Are you going to be offering that will?
No, Your Honor. I am, however, going to be offering 3 Polaroid photographs that have already been marked, rather. People's 9, 10, and 11. And I'm also going to be offering some newspapers, old newspapers that were also found in the safe deposit box. They are all from the year 1989. All but one piece contains news stories regarding the beating that occurred on January 1, 1989, the fact that the L.A. City Attorney filed charges against the defendant, and I believe the plea. I'm sorry, they also announced the arraignment in these newspapers. I think these are relevant because they help to date the photographs contained within the safe deposit box. It appears to us that what Nicole Brown was doing was leaving a trail for us, some indication as to what happened back on January 1, 1989. I expect that as we proceed through the trial, others will step forward and may testify to having seen these specific photographs before, if not others, that depict other bruises or injuries suffered by Nicole Brown on January 1, 1989.
Mr. Darden, what is the offer of proof that you're going to make to the court regarding Mr. Stevens' testimony regarding the proximity of those photos to the newspapers that you have there?
They're in the same safe deposit box, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay. There's another item. It is not dated. It's from the real estate section, apparently, from the LA Times. And this small article is entitled, O.J. Simpson Buys Laguna Beach Home. And I think this is relevant, or it will become relevant as time goes on, as we call Mr. Aguilera to the stand to testify to having seen the defendant strike Nicole Brown with an open hand at Victoria Beach.
But, all right. Is there any objection to any of these items?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just waiting for the bench.
All right.
Ooh, okay.
Are those the items that you're going to offer, Mr. Darden?
Well, we will be offering 3 letters seized from that same safe deposit box, and the defense has already stipulated that the defendant wrote those letters. But we will offer those as well.
All right.
I should indicate that there is a plane ticket to New York in Nicole Brown's name from 1979, from 1978, that's also contained in the safe deposit box. I don't intend to offer that.
Okay. All right, let me start at the top. Mr. Cochran, do you have any of these items that you have no objection to?
Yes, Your Honor. I have no objection to, number one, he's not going to offer the will of September 30th, 1990, which is, the pages. Eight pages plus a rider, we would offer the will. I think that's relevant. And I would not offer the traveler's indemnity insurance coverage because I don't think it's appropriate to have Mr. Simpson's assets publicly displayed. With regard to the newspapers, Your Honor, all the newspapers that relate to this particular incident of January 1st, 1989, I object. This is all hearsay. That doesn't help us at all. It's hearsay. It's some particular writer's version of events at an arraignment or what was coming up. That's hearsay and should be kept out. There's no exception to that. With regard to these photographs, if I could have just a moment to talk to counsel.
Objection, hearsay.
With regard to these three photographs, Mr. Darden made a representation to me that it's his belief these photographs all relate to the January 1st, 89. I told him that if there is going to be testimony, he indicates Denise Brown would be the person who would perhaps so testify. If there's testimony in that regard, we perhaps will not object to them if they relate to that particular time. We don't need the newspapers for that particular thing, it seems to me. If we don't have an objection to the O.J. Simpson Baez Laguna Beach home, is that it?
How about the three letters?
The three letters. I previously indicated to counsel that I would stipulate those letters were written by Mr. Simpson's handwriting.
All right.
Would the court care to hear more argument regarding these newspaper articles?
No.
With regard to the newspaper articles, my only concern really is the date, okay, are the dates. And we could simply redact a lot of the stuff from the newspaper, you know, including the articles about Mr. Simpson beating up Nicole or whatever. I mean, I don't have to have that. What I'm really interested in are the dates and perhaps the headlines just to establish those dates.
How do we go over hearsay objection? The newspaper hearsay objection.
You mean to the headline? It's not offered for the truth of the matter stated,
It's
Your Honor.
offered for the date, which
It's
is...
offered for the date.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is a newspaper. Let's grab the evidence code and see what it says about newspapers. I think it'll say they're admissible.
Yeah. All right.
Let's grab it.
Counsel, I don't really think that the date is in dispute. The court documents, if you ever intend on, are you ever going to offer a certified copy of the court documents from the West Los Angeles Municipal Court? That pretty much would speak for itself, don't you think?
I'll
And
let
since it would be a arguably certified copy, and I would have to take judicial notice of it.
A very good argument on this issue, Your Honor.
I suggest you not listen to him. I heard.
I scared him.
Mr. Cochran's going to object before I even state the argument. But what is important here, Your Honor, is the fact that Nicole Brown apparently felt even back in 1990, even at the age of only 30 years old, that something bad was going to happen to her and that it was going to happen to her at the hands of the defendant. She prepared a will in 1990.
All right, well, there's been no objection to the will.
Okay.
The will is a holographic will and bears the date and signature of Nicole Brown Simpson.
Okay.
I assume somebody from her family will come in and say this is her handwriting.
That's true. She left some photographs. Okay.
All right, and I assume somebody, the offer of proof is that Denise Brown is going to come in and give us a date of those photographs.
Well, Denise Brown will come in and say that she saw these photographs.
We're going to talk about this.
All right. Ms. Brown, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Thank you.
But Judge, they were telling her what to say. Let her stay.
All right.
I would say that the newspaper articles go to the state of mind of Nicole Brown. She's leaving a trail for us. She's trying to date the photographs for us, and I think it's relevant. I think the data that the photographs were taken are relevant. The incident that they relate to are relevant. And I think that these photographs help to establish, the newspapers help to establish that.
All right.
Denise Brown wasn't present at the time that the defendant beat up Nicole Brown in 1989.
But I assume that she'll be able to testify as to when she was shown those photographs and by whom. And the photographs pretty much speak for themselves. But what's relevant to the investigator's testimony is that on such and such a date at such and such a time, he served a search warrant, drilled the box, and this is what was in it. And then somebody else will have to lay the foundation for the photographs.
You're not going to let me put in my newspapers.
I'm going to
I'm not finished yet. I got the podium.
sustain the objection to the newspapers.
There's a very damaging evidence, Your Honor. Very poetic evidence.
That's what all the prosecutors say.
The hot property item, that remains?
There's no objection to it. It's
Okay.
relevant evidence. Although the Orange County Recorder Registrar's Office would probably have a certified copy of those documents as well.
That's in Orange County, confusing things are there these days. As for the will, I'm not going to offer the will. I'm going to offer the photographs. The O.J. Simpson buys Laguna Beach home, the letters retrieved from the safe deposit box.
Or I assume that on cross-examination, Mr. Cochran will elicit from Detective Stevens that he did find some other matters.
Yes, and I want to listen, Your Honor, may I have a second, Your Honor? If I'm going to stipulate to the handwriting, I want to talk to Mr. Darden for just a moment, if I might.
Sure.
He has already stipulated to the handwriting, Your Honor, so that's clear.
Yes, he has.
Counsel's up here making statements. If you don't mind, let me just have my minute to respond. We are going to be offering this particular will. Counsel talks about, if the court pleases, their interpretation of the evidence. They're always talking about these trails. And I think that the court should be aware that the reason they don't want this will in is as follows. He says, this is my will.
Well, counsel, I've read
Well,
the...
but I'm responding. I know you've read it, but counsel has a penchant for speaking, so the press picks it up, and we shouldn't be precluded from responding, I don't think, Your Honor.
He taught me that, Your Honor.
Mr. Darden, thank you. Counsel, I've read it, and if it's only for the public's, you have a copy of that document in your possession. The press probably has seen it already.
All I want to do is respond to what he said, Your Honor, if I might.
Briefly.
You wouldn't preclude me from that, would you?
Briefly.
All right. What I wanted to indicate is that this will sets forth a young lady who has tremendous assets, who basically apologizes to O.J. by saying, you have so much wealth, that's why I'm not leaving anything to you. Remember me from early in our relationship before I became so unhappy and so bitchy. So, I think that this, interpretations are such that she was the one who's unhappy, was talking about her state of mind, which isn't relevant, and that she has all these tremendous assets, including this condo that Mr. Simpson gave her free, so that I think the interpretation that they make is clearly wrong under the circumstances. So I just want an opportunity to respond to what they said.
Let me just ask a question. Has any last will and testament been filed by Nicole Brown Simpson state? I assume yes.
I believe yes, in Santa Monica, I believe.
Okay. So that's a court document. Does it have bear any resemblance to this document here?
I think it may, Your Honor. I'm not sure she says she was bitchy and unhappy in the one that was filed, but I think it bears some semblance.
Well, at this point, what you can do is ask Investigator Stevens if he found it there, mark it for identification purposes. You'll have to make an argument for its admissibility at some point in time. But while we have Investigator Stevens here, we might as well get
I'd like
it
to be
out
able
of
to
the
do
way.
that.
But it won't be shown to the jury until it's been found to be admissible and not displayed on the Elmo until such is determined.
I won't do like they do, Your Honor. No, I'll abide by the rules.
Okay. And as I understand it, Your Honor, this is not the last will and testament, the September 30, 1990 will. It is not. And the real question here is what made her so unhappy and bitchy, I think.
All right, that's clear.
Thank you, counsel. I'm not the one who has to be convinced. So you can save the peripheral comments. All right, let's have the jury.
I do, however, intend to display the letters.
Yes, and there's been no objection to the letters. Because there's no objection. Madam Reporter, how you doing?
And did you do that?
Yes, I did.
And did you examine the contents of that safe deposit box?
Yes.
Whose safe deposit box was it?
Nicole Brown Simpson.
And did you remove certain items from that safe deposit box?
Yes, I did.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Showing you a Polaroid photograph that has been marked Exhibit 10, People's 10 for identification. You recognize that photograph?
Yes.
Is that a photograph you removed from Nicole Brown's safe deposit box?
Yes, it is.
Showing you Exhibit 9, People's Exhibit 9. That's a Polaroid photograph, correct?
Yes.
Did you remove that Polaroid from Nicole Brown's safe deposit box?
Yes, I did.
And showing you what has been marked as People's 11. Is that a Polaroid photograph?
Yes.
And was that photograph contained in Nicole Brown's safe deposit box?
Yes, it was.
Now, each of those photographs depict the face of someone, is that correct?
That's correct.
And is that the face of someone you're familiar with, or a face that you're familiar with?
Yes.
Who's depicted in each of those photographs?
Nicole Brown Simpson.
Were there other items inside the safe deposit box?
Yes, there was.
And I'm holding in my hand that which appears to be
A police officer.
a 9-page document dated September 30, 1990. May it be marked People's 14?
Hold on, let me get the final word. 16. 1-6.
We should, and the
Will
Luke and
dated
Laura.
September 30, 1990, Your Honor. Showing you what is marked People 16. Recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
Is that an item that you found in Nicole Brown's safe deposit box?
Yes, it was in a sealed envelope that was contained inside the safe deposit box.
And where's the beef?
If I can hand you the envelope, Your Honor, may the envelope be marked and included in People 16?
16A. Envelope be marked 16A, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Okay. The envelope I just handed you, 16A, is that the envelope?
Yes, it is.
The envelope was sealed?
Yes.
Now, I'm holding it in my hand. Appears to be a handwritten letter, consists of 6 pages, and it includes an envelope. It marked People's 17 collectively.
17.
May I have one moment? Showing The items marked People 17 collectively. Mr. Stevens, you recognize these items?
Yes. Council may approach without leave of the court one at a time for me to decide.
Yes, I do.
When was the first time you saw the letter marked People 17?
December 6th, when I opened up the safe deposit box.
Your Honor, if I may I display the letter for the jury?
I think you have no objection. May I just look at them for a second? Sure.
Mr. Garden, do we need the Elmo for this, or do we have this on the laser disc?
You need almost for this.
All right.
I have no objection.
All right. One, please.
This is the envelope included in People 17, Your Honor. Page 1. Now read the letter into the record, Your Honor.
I think the script, it appears to be, let me ask the jury, can you read the letter, ladies and gentlemen? I'm getting nods even from the end of the jury box. All right. We'll let them read the letter to themselves.
Next, Adam.
All right, page 2. Page 3.
That's because other people can read it in their head. They're reading a letter. The jury is reading a letter one at a time.
Mark Peoples 18.
All right, People's 18, two-page letter.
This silence is way different than what we're used to on Court Vibes.
All right, Mr. Dyer. A two-page letter, maybe Mark Peoples 19. Stephen, showing you Peoples 18. Was that letter contained in Nicole Brown's safe deposit box?
Yes, it was.
This letter marked Peoples 18, as well as the letter marked 17, were both contained in the safe deposit box,
Yes.
along with those three photographs.
Yes.
May I display Peoples 18 for the jury, Your Honor?
And Mr. Cochran? All right.
Most likely, yes. I betcha it was in cursive. Can't tell from YouTube when the pauses end and they start talking again.
Showing you Peoples 19. This is a two-page letter, is that correct?
Yes.
Testify that each of those photographs depict or show Nicole Brown.
Yes.
Do they show injuries to her?
Yes, they do.
That is on each of the photographs?
Yes.
I'm holding here what appears to be a portion of a newspaper article. May it be marked People's 20. It's entitled Hot Property. O.J. Simpson buys Laguna Beach home. You recognize that small piece of newspaper, sir?
Yes.
Was that also in the Cole Brown safe deposit box?
Yes, it was.
There were other items in that box as well, is that correct?
Yes.
Have you made any attempt to determine the date in which each of those Polaroid photographs were taken?
Yes, I did.
And what did you do in that regard?
I took the photographs to Polaroid Corporation in Santa Ana.
And why did you take them there?
There's numbers on the back of the photos. I contacted Polaroid. They told me that they could date them.
It's an offer of proof, Mayor. The council wants to talk about it. I'm glad to listen.
All right, after taking the Polaroid, next question.
I'm sorry, why did you take them to Polaroid without telling us what Polaroid told you?
To date the photographs.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, Mr. Cochran?
Thank you very kind, Judge. Good afternoon, Mr. Stevens.
Good afternoon.
As I understand your testimony, on December 6th of 1994, armed with a search warrant, you went into this particular safe deposit box and recovered a number of items. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Among the items that you recovered were the 3 letters we just saw, which letters appear to be apology letters to Nicole Brown Simpson. Is that right?
Overruled. Let her speak for
They'll
themselves.
speak for themselves, and I can ask that question.
That's correct.
And those, you found those apology letters in that box altogether, right?
Yes.
Now, in addition to the letters of apology regarding this 1989 incident, you also found this will which counsel marked. Is that correct?
Yes.
Still up there? May I approach you, Your Honor?
You may.
This document is marked as will, and for the record, Your Honor, this number is
Equals 16.
to the 16 and 16A. Mr. Stevens, sir, this particular document, the will, was inside this particular envelope. Is that correct?
That's correct.
The envelope indicated only open in front of a lawyer, right?
That's right.
All right. And you opened it.
I did it in front of a lawyer.
You found a lawyer?
Yes, I did.
Is the lawyer in this courtroom?
Yes, he is.
And is that him there?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Indicating for the record, Mr.
All
Darden.
right. So he was present when you opened it?
Yes.
Okay. And you had occasion to read this this document dated September 30th, 1990. Did you not?
Briefly, I read through it real quick once.
All right. And then I'd like to show the first page of this particular document on the Elmo.
Mr. Darden? He'd like to show it using the Elmo.
I object.
All right.
No. That's not true at all. Not true. They weren't going to mark it, I thought. Well, we'll
No.
approach. They can approach.
It's marked, but there's no foundation for it at this point.
Well, may I ask a couple of questions?
Well, Counsel, let's do this.
Well,
We're right at, hold on, we're right at 3 o'clock. I need to take a break for the court reporter. Let's do this. Let's let the jury go, and we'll come back and discuss it.
May I ask a question before we go? Are we going to adjourn at 4 o'clock today?
It's Thursday before Thursday.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. We have the motion to quash with the jury. Excuse me, the subpoena. Let me talk to the bailiff real quick.
Well, not a lot of work is getting done today, guys.
All right, let the record reflect that we have been rejoined by all members of our jury panel. Investigator Stevens is on the witness stand under cross-examination. Investigator Stevens, you're reminded you're still under oath. And Mr. Cochran, you may continue your cross-examination.
Thank you very kindly, Your Honor. Just a few more questions. Investigator Stevens, I presume you found no other letters in that safe deposit box we've not talked about. Is that correct?
There was one other letter.
All right. And we've not marked that this afternoon?
No, we have not.
All right. Did you find some plane tickets in there also?
Yes, I did.
And whose name were these plane tickets in?
If I recall, it was Nicole Simpson.
And was this a trip to New York?
Yes, it was.
Were these tickets ever used, if you know?
It appeared to be the receipt.
The receipt for plane tickets to New York and back to Los Angeles?
Yes, to JFK Airport.
All right. Now, Mr. Darden alluded to in his direct examination a newspaper article regarding the purchase by Mr. O.J. Simpson of some property in Laguna Beach. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that newspaper article before you?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, I don't think we've shown that to the jury. May I be permitted to show that to the jury?
Yes.
May I approach?
You may. All right, do we have the Elmo working? This is People's 20. 20.
Your Honor, we report to put up on the board.
This is that Sunday column from the Times real estate section.
Hot property, yes, Your Honor. Can we inquire, Your Honor, whether or not the jury is able to do that?
Seems to be slightly out of focus. And the part about Mr. Simpson's property is the first two paragraphs, so we can just focus in on that, I think. Right.
Is that sufficient, Your Honor?
Why don't you move it over slightly to the left? Perfect. All right. Mr. Cochran?
Thank you very kindly, Your Honor. I have nothing further of Investigator Stevens at this point.
Investigator Stevens, you described the three letters that we displayed as an apology.
Yes.
Was there anything in those letters that mentioned anything about a mutual wrestling match?
I did not object, Your Honor. The letters speak for themselves. The jurors have seen the letters, seen proper readings.
Correct. All this the investigator did was seize the letters.
Well,
He's
couldn't
not the
let-
interpreter.
Thank you, Your Honor. Couldn't the letters be characterized more as a confession as opposed to an apology? He was entitled.
This is argumentative. Counsel knows it.
Sustained. Counsel, the letters have been exhibited in their entirety to the jury. They can characterize it as they wish.
Move to strike, counsel.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Any recross on that one question?
No, there was no question.
Oh, they got one in. All right, Investigator Stevens, thank you very much. You're excused for the afternoon. If you return those photographs to Mr. Darden, please. And don't discuss your testimony with anybody other than the attorneys in the matter. Thank you, sir. All right, next witness.
People's 21 is an audio tape. An audio tape of an incident that occurred on October 25, 1993. May it be marked People's 21.
All right, People's 21. All right, Ms. Moore, just come over here and stand by the court reporter, please, and face the clerk.
Raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in the policy now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
So please proceed and state your story first and last name for the record.
Terry, Terri, Moore, Moore.
Mr.
She's
Darden.
nervous.
Mr. who?
Darden.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Moore.
Hi.
Who do you work for?
Los Angeles Police.
And what do you do for the Los Angeles Police Department?
I'm a police service representative instructor.
And what is it that you instruct?
All of the functions of being a police service rep.
Okay. And does that include a 911 operator?
Yes.
Have you been a 911 operator in the past?
Yes, for the past 3 years and 7 months.
And were you a 911 operator on October 25, 1993?
Yes.
And were you on duty at approximately 9:54 p.m. on that day?
Yes.
Somebody needs to slap him away from the
Were you at your
microphone.
station?
Yes.
Were you receiving calls or taking calls?
Yes.
And on that date and at that time, did you receive a 911 emergency call?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have here what appears to be an LAPD 911 incident report. May it be marked People's 22 for identification?
People's 22.
Can we approach for a moment without the recording room?
I don't remember this trial, so I can't say for certain if these two ever got into a fist fight or not. And don't spoil it for me. Okay, these three.
Like the jury has withdrawn from the courtroom. Be seated. Thank you. Mr. Darden, do you have this tape you want to play?
Yay!
As the court is aware, the court ordered us to redact from the tape the following comment: he's going to beat the shit out of me. And we've redacted the tape, as the court has instructed us to do.
What's the length of the tape, Mr. Darden?
Pardon me?
What is the length of the tape?
Mr. Douglas says approximately 14 minutes. 14 minutes.
All right. No, my concern is Ms. Clark's problem.
I'll stipulate Ms. Clark.
I'm sorry? I don't have.
All right, do we have the tape queued up?
We're experiencing multiple technical difficulties, so we can do a quick audio check possibly using the speakers.
Put in your plug.
No, it's set down right. See it right.
I could just bring in my boombox.
Judge, if you only knew how much I would love that.
Good.
I would too. I would too. We are literally getting nothing done in today's video. But so many people are watching this part. Look at that big dip. Or, you know what I mean. Peak.
All right, play the tape.
Emergency. Yeah, can you send someone to my house? What's the problem there? Well, my ex-husband or my husband just broke into my house and he's ranting and raving. Now he's just walked out in the front yard. Has he been drinking or anything? No, but he's crazy. Is he black or Hispanic? Black. What's he wearing right now? Black pants and a golf shirt. What color shirt? I think it's black and white. You said he hasn't been drinking?
No.
Did he hit you? No. Did you have a restraining order against him?
No.
What's your name?
Nicole Simpson,
Your address?
325 Gretna Green Way.
The house or apartment?
It's a house.
Okay, what's the police officer?
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Center West LA Unit Domestic Violence, 325 South Gretna Green Way, Monica Cummins, code incident
911 emergency,
Can you get someone over here now to 325 Gretna Green? He's back. Please.
Well, okay, what does he look like?
He's O.J. Simpson. I think you know his record. Could you just send somebody over here?
Okay, what is he doing there?
He just drove up again.
He just drove
somebody
up.
over.
Okay, wait a minute, what kind of car is he in?
He's in a white Bronco, but first of all, he broke the back door down to get in.
Okay, wait a minute, what's your name?
Nicole Simpson.
Okay, is he the sportscaster or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Thank you.
Wait a minute, we're sending the police. What is he doing? Is he threatening you?
I'm fucking going nuts.
Okay, has he threatened you in any way, or is he just harassing you?
You're going to hear him in a minute. He's about to come in again.
Okay, just stay on the line.
I don't want to stay on the line.
Just stay on the line so we can know what's going on until the police get there, okay? Okay, Nicole?
Uh-huh.
That was the portion that I recall that the other comment was that the court ordered redacted.
There's another part that I'd ask the court to consider redacting.
What is that?
The part about he's effing going nuts. You hear that part?
Well, I think it's descriptive of what appears to go on.
Well, I don't think we expect to just read the court with regard to the effing part. So I have reference to. So he's going nuts. That's one thing. I don't think you need to explain.
Mr. Darden?
I'm no great fan of expletives, Your Honor, but I think that the jury has a right to hear the tape in its full context. And this is an issue we discussed weeks ago.
I agree.
I mean, let's move on with the trial.
We want to move on with the trial. This is all I'm saying to the court is that It's the same as when we had to excise all this stuff about polygraphs to get a dream that he wanted to. So I'll submit it, but I think that the court has your discretion, and it doesn't change the flavor to say he's going nuts as opposed to
All right. The court's considered that previously. All right, let's have the jurors, please. You fine?
There's more, Your Honor. Is that all? That's all.
Well, that was the part that was to be redacted, and we wanted to make sure that it had, in fact, been redacted. I think we have enough time on the court day to play the tape. Seated. All right, Mr. Darden, you may continue. Certainly.
I would hate to take a lie detector test because they ask you questions like, have you ever thought about blah, blah, blah. I think about all kinds of things all the time. That doesn't mean I'm going to do them. Whatever you're about to ask, I've absolutely thought about it. Absolutely.
You may.
Or showing you what his remarks, people's 22 identification. You recognize that document?
Yes.
What is that document?
That's an incident history.
And what exactly is an incident history?
Whenever we take a call that comes in from 911 or any other console, we create an incident, and it gives, then we input comments, the address, the name of the person calling, and any other pertinent information. And it generates an incident number so it can be later referenced, and the officers can know where they're going and what they need.
Okay. Now, by looking at that incident report, can you tell us when and if a 911 operator received a telephone call from 325 Gretna Green?
Yes.
Okay. Who received the first call?
There was another operator who was sitting on the console 40, which was right next to me.
Okay. And who was that person?
That was PSR Stephanie Martin.
All right, guys, hear that? Georgia Court's online. I gotta go. I gotta get my recording up real quick. I already missed part of it. Thank you so much for coming out today. I appreciate it. We're getting there. We didn't get there today, but we got through the boring stuff. So tomorrow will be better. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you have a great, great, great day. Bye.
Representing that Tiffany Crow did not have an emergency medical condition.